Justice League number 18, written by Jeff Johns, art by Jesus Saiz. So last issue was the end of Throne of Atlantis, and the Justice League was like, hey, we need to make our team bigger. We need to hire some new people. So this issue is basically just dealing with that. And we open up in Pittsburgh High, where Ronnie Raymond and Jason, I forget his last name, are studying, trying to write a paper to get into some like good college or something like that, or at least have Ronnie get into a college, because Jason is basically banking on them being able to go to the same college so they could stay Firestorm. But it turns out Ronnie's just kind of zoning out, listening to music and whatnot, so he's not 100% there. But then the computer screen that they're working on flashes up with "We can help you, Jason," and the music inside of Ronnie's ears flips over to "We can help you too, Ronnie, if you can help us." So then we cut to Baltimore, where Black Canary is fighting some sort of snake man, probably Copperhead. And all of a sudden, this billboard that she's fighting in front of flashes over to the words, "Hello, Black Canary," as she takes out Copperhead. And then we cut over to San Francisco, where Zatanna is putting on a show. And as she gets off stage and back to her dressing room, she gets a call from Constantine saying like, "Oh, I'm so mad at you, the Justice League Dark, blah, blah, blah." And then her phone gets a text that says, "Hang up on him, Zatanna. We have a place for you." And Zatanna's like, "Oh, sweet, cool." So then we cut to the Watchtower, where the 6 members of the Justice League, because Green Lantern isn't there, are basically saying like, "Yeah, we're going to need some more chairs if we're going to do this." And they're basically just talking like, look, Cyborg, he is constantly absorbing data. He usually ignores most of it, but there's a couple of buzzwords that him and Batman set up that he can't ignore, that like triggers him to check out. And they're things relating to other superpowered individuals. And he has set up a map, and he calls it the grid, that pinpoints all of these superpowered people so that they can basically be contacted and brought into this fight. Meanwhile, Aquaman, just briefly, his attention is split because he's like, I kind of got some Atlantean stuff going on, and I should call down and make sure everything's going cool with that. So basically they're saying, all right, how do we decide who gets in on the Justice League? And they don't really have a good answer because Cyborg tries not to invade into their personal lives. So Flash is like, well, let's just bring them up here and have kind of like a job fair. We'll see who's a good fit. So we see 10 people brought up. Black Canary, Black Lightning, Blue Devil, Element Woman, Firestorm, Gold Rush, Nightwing, Platinum, Vixen, and Zatanna. And everyone's just kind of having a powwow, talking to each other, getting to know each other. We see Platinum going around, shaking hands with everybody, and she says the same thing over and over, like, "Hi, I'm Platinum. I'm part of the U.S. military and used to go into situations that are dangerous to normal humans." And everyone's like, "Cool. What else?" And then she just walks off and talks to someone else. And it's like, okay, well, she's got a personality. Zatanna apparently is on the case of her father's murder. And she's like, "Hey, Superman, really appreciative you brought me up here. I got to go deal with that, so I'm not going to be in this book anymore." And Superman's like, "No problem. So long." Black Lightning and Blue Devil are talking about joining the team. Blue Devil doesn't think he's cut out for it. Blue Devil doesn't think they want him there. Black Lightning thinks that they would do a much better job just down on Earth with small street level stuff. Nightwing goes up to Batman and just like, "I thought this was an emergency." And he's like, "I mean, could you not be a dick?" And he's like, "That's literally my name, so no." And then Superman hears an extremely faint heartbeat, a very tiny one. And we see this itty bitty little figure in shadow. And then we go over to Platinum talking to Gold Rush. And Gold Rush is also a metal body. She's apparently from Texas. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Platinum. Are you also a robot?" And she's like, "No, I'm a person. This is just a gold body." And she starts really hitting on Flash, saying like, "Oh, it's a hard candy shell, but I've got a sweet center. Y'all ever been married, Flash?" And Flash just runs over behind Superman, just being like, "We need to get rid of her. She is making me uncomfortable." So Element Woman starts talking to Firestorm, being like, "Oh man, wouldn't it be so cool to join the Justice League? This is great. It's a dream of mine." But like, Rex is right. I'm not really so good at impressing people. And as Platinum comes over to shake Firestorm's hand, she suddenly starts freaking out and starts saying how she doesn't want to be a soldier, and she starts attacking everybody there. So Vixen uses her power to try to restrain Platinum. It doesn't seem to work. Platinum's got a hand up on him. And so Cyborg calls down to Platinum's creator, Dr. Magnus, and he's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have pushed her out the door so fast. I really was just hoping she would be able to make it. Could you please, like, you have to disable her, which is really difficult because her body is just pure platinum, but inside of her is like her brain. If you destroy her brain, I cannot fix her and I'll never be able to replace her. So please don't break that. And they're like, okay, ideas, suggestions. And Cyborg calls up Firestorm and says, hey, I need you to change her body, which is pure platinum, into water. Are you specific enough to do that and not mess with her brain? And Ronnie's like, of course I am. Jason, we are that good, right? Yeah, no, of course we are. So Platinum's just saying how she wants to go back to Dr. Magnus. She just wants to go home. And Firestorm uses his powers to turn her into water. And it looks like her brain's about to hit the ground and just crack open. But then it turns out that a faint little heartbeat belonged to the Atom, who is another person who was contacted named Rhonda Pineda. And Cyborg's like, yeah, she, during the attack from Atlantis, disabled one of their bombs. And I managed to trace it down to her. I found her in a college, and I contacted her asking if she wanted to come up. But I never got a response back, so I didn't think she was here. But I guess she was here the whole time. So they narrowed it down. They want Atom, Element Woman, and Firestorm all on the team. They figure those are the new recruits. But all of a sudden, Cyborg's computer glitches out, and as he tries to get up there, it's like, whoa, somebody hacked into our computer, stole our entire history of the Justice League, and sent it to someone. And it looks like they left a message for us, and we see a skull and crossbones pop up on the screen with the words, have a nice day. So I think that's where the primary arc is going to be, of whatever this computer virus is. So yeah, new members on the team. I'm interested. Element Woman is a bit weird because I don't think we actually have met Metamorpho in any of the books we've done. So having Element Woman before the main guy seems a little strange. But hey, it's what we're doing, and it's nice to see Firestorm is getting written in a competent manner. So yeah, overall, I'm going to give this one, I'll give it a solid 8. It's a nice little, just all the characters, you bring them in, it establishes why they would or would not be in favor of joining the team. The only one I think got a little bit short-shafted here is Vixen, but, you know, whatever. She was already on a Justice League, so she can have that one whenever it comes back. But yeah, 8 for this. I'm looking forward to the next couple issues and seeing where it turns out from here.